Hello there and welcome back to Painting with Martin. It's been a while since I did anything to do with the board game Company of Heroes, so I thought I would actually shoot you a video detailing the basics tutorial of how to paint US armor. And this is actually from the Elite Commanders pack, from the which is an expansion to the game. It looks like this, and on the back side you have a bunch of different kinds of and if you can see a bunch of different tanks and armored vehicles. And today we're taking a look at I'm going to sit down over here, at a tank called the Sherman Calliope. It was a regular Sherman tank, as you can see over here, but it had a rocket system up here that fired 4.5-inch rockets in a salvo that could devastate the battlefield. I wasn't sure exactly how common these were on the actual battlefield, but you can actually play with them using the Elite Commanders pack. If you don't have this one, you can just detach it very easily like this. And let's see if I don't break anything here. Yeah, there you go. And it looks exactly like this. It's a regular Sherman tank. And you can use this one as a base tutorial for how to paint your regular US armor. And it follows some very easy steps. It's a very cool miniatures to paint. And I'm going to use mostly Vallejo colors for this tutorial. So what I've got to set up here is my trusty water jar. I got my wet palette here. I got a series of brushes. Here I'm using the Winsor Newton Cotman series. And also a very old brush like this that I'm using for dry brushing. Something to be said as well is that the miniatures come in this kind of little color here, like very green. It says Calliope here on it as well, so thank you very much to Bad Crow Games that actually made this game, that actually put these ones in so you know exactly which tank and which vehicle is which. So the US has this green color, and they're not very, very pretty when they come out of the box, so that's why I paint them. So what I've done is that I've primed this one using a Vallejo primer called US Armor. You can just use any Vallejo primer as long as it's dark, pencil grey, or just black will be fine as well. Then what I've done as well is that I've given it one base coat of a color called Brown Violet from Vallejo. It's the same thing as US, like Olive Drab, I believe it's called, or something similar. But Brown Violet, that's the one to go, and or Field Drab, maybe something like that. They changed the name of the color since then, and this is an old bottle that I have. So I've given it one coat, except for the tracks as well. So what we're going to do straight away, so I'm going to paint the tracks. I'm going to detach the turret like this. Sorry about that. Left over some of the cold again. And again, we're going to use some German grey, giving it a good shake off camera, and putting it out on our wet palette over here on the side. And when we've done so, we're going to paint it using a fairly large brush for this. So painting it like this, very easy, and the tracklings were actually in a color like this, going over like this. Taking great care not to touch any of the other areas, if possible. And Company here is the board game. It's a phenomenal game, one of my favorites. Doesn't see the table that often lately because I'm waiting for the expansion. And I just got parts of the expansion in the mail a couple of weeks ago, so that's also coming up in the pipeline for how to paint this one. A full painting tutorial of the German side at least. And maybe later on I will get the rest of the expansions, which updates it to the second edition here. It's important also to touch the track links on the top here. And if you accidentally touch any other parts, and the bottom parts as well, if you accidentally touch any other parts as well, you can easily cover it up using the same Vallejo Brown Violet. Like this, and going on to the other side. And the top. All right, once this one will be fully dry, we will continue with the rest. However, I'm going to put this one on the side here, on the back here like this, clean my brush in between, and then continue to the next part of this tutorial, which is painting the top side here. The top side here is works like this, and this means we are going to use some Iraquian sand, or you can also use buff for it. This Vallejo color, also called buff. Giving a good shake, and we're going to dry brush the entire miniature except for the track links. Putting out here on my palette, and we're going to dry brush it. For those of you who don't know what dry brushing is, it's an excellent way of actually learning this one. Is that you take a very old brush like this, and you dip it into the paint, like all of it, and you wipe it off on a piece of kitchen towel until almost nothing left remains. You can test on your skin and see how much actually remains or not. Until you have almost nothing left on the brush, you're ready to go. And this gives weathering and some like rough finish and definitions. So what we're going to do here is we're going to dry brush it on the raised areas here, giving it some definition over the areas here, and then on the other side. And then we can start doing it in circular motions, such as like this, over the rest of the tank. Then also importantly, now is a little bit time to dry, also do this one here on the side of the kind of like track links, not the track links, but the wheels in between here. Don't forget this area here in the back. Oops, no. And this is what happens when you have an old brush like this. It sometimes detaches. Don't worry, we can just screw it back on again. That's why you see an old brush. There's same thing for the tank turret. Touching the raised areas. And if you feel it's too much, we can always cover it a little bit later, going back to the same brown violet. The side. And don't forget also, if you're painting the calliopes, which I'm doing here as well, also using for the calliope here as well. Over this one here. Raised areas first and foremost, and of course the other side as well. And the underside. Not as important though, but it really helps. And it really makes it stand out, so to say. So apologies. Now we're again going to continue to the one part we actually forgot, which is the track links here on the side here as well. Those are also going to be painted in German grey, and so putting out a little bit of German grey here as well. And I'm using it neat, I'm not diluting it. You can if you do that if you want to, but it's perfectly fine if you don't. There you go. This is mostly done dry underneath here as well, which is nice, but I'm still holding it like this. So I'm going to put it here to the side, and now we're going to paint all the stowage items, which are kind of fun. First of all, the bags on the left-hand side of the tank. I'm using Vallejo's leather brown for this one. Giving it a good shake off camera as well to make sure all those pigments are mixing, and putting it out on my palette, also neat. And using a smaller brush for this one, I'm going to put out some color here for these ones. And it's these kind of small items, even though they may seem insignificant, with not really any like implication of how you play the game and how you do battle and all that, it actually means that the tank looks a lot better. As such, like this. Don't forget the sides here as well. And you're almost ready to go there. It looks really nice. looks like this on the side. I'm going to put down the tanks like this, and we're going to go over to paint some of the other items on the tank. So the first thing we're doing is the kind of like not cardboard, but wooden boxes. For this one, I'm using a color called Flat Earth, also from Vallejo. I'm here just painting them on top here, and make sure that the tank really stands out after you apply these items. Don't forget to the other side here. And as I said, you can use this tutorial just for the base set of the US armor as well. And for all the other factions, except for the Soviet faction, which unfortunately I also didn't have time to paint. I painted it, but I didn't have my channel up and running. For all the other factions, except for the Soviets, there are full tutorials for the British, the German regular here, and the OKW, or OKW. As well on the channel. Now when we're done with these boxes, we're also going to paint the handles here on the side of the spade and the axe with this color here as well. As well as also, no, I think that's good. So with this one done, we have a little bit left, and for this one here, I'm going to use a color called either Lead Belcher from Citadel, or you can use Natural Steel or anything similar from Vallejo. In this case, let's see if I have Lead Belcher here for all the metal part of the tank, but I'm going to see here if I have anything left in my. Yes, I did. Good. So I'm keeping to the Vallejo here as well. This is Natural Steel from Vallejo as well, and for this one, very easy. We are going to touch up the metal parts here on the spade, the axe blade, as well as here we have some prying tools you can use when the tank is stuck here just behind the wooden boxes. But not to forget, we have the machine gun. The hull machine gun is also going to be painted in this manner. Don't forget the front as well as the side of that machine gun. Very easy to forget this one. And well, also the turret machine gun here as well can also be painted in this fashion. You can also just leave it in the original brown violet. This one just to make sure it stands out. If you want to, you can also paint the sidebars here, of the ones holding the rocket launcher, in this manner. Also completely optional to do so. I'm doing this one just to give it a little bit of extra definition. Make sure the Calliope add-on is what do you call it? Stands out a little bit. And like when you play Count of Heroes, the board game, you choose one faction, and then you also choose a commander. This commander allows you to make these call-in of these special units. So if you don't have the commander ability, then you may not see certain units on the battlefield. All right, we are almost done with the first step of the tutorial, and in this case, it's almost dried. So in this case, it's almost dried as well. So what you do here to make sure that it gives it a little bit more of a different color and definition is that you apply a wash. A wash will bring out the magic of the of the miniature give out all the shadows and like all the details you might have obscured underneath. So here I'm using a wash called Sepia shade. You can use Seraphim Sepia from Citadel as well, that color range. I'm putting it out, and I'm putting it out neat. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So even though the tank is not fully dried yet, I'm going to show you what it looks like to apply it on the turret, which didn't see any colors so far, and is all dried. And you apply it very liberally across the entire area, and you do so the same thing over the entire tank that you painted previously when it's fully dried. You can start with the turret, and I'm holding the turret underneath here with my hands, and also taking great care not to touch anything underneath the tank, like don't paint this part, because very easily it will get the turret stuck usually. So it goes like this. You want to make sure that all the surface areas are covered, and but it doesn't pool in the surface areas. You want it to pool in the recesses. Looks like this, and you can put it down like this. I'm going to do the same thing so you can show it again. I'll show it again how it looks like for the rocket launcher. So it goes like this. You put it all over very liberally, and it kind of like gives it such a nice, almost aesthetic look. Here again on the side. Don't forget the other side, and with the calliope, don't forget the back, and I hold it up like this for you guys, and of course don't forget the underside as well. And here I'm taking care not to cover actually the holding bars here, or it might get stuck as well. So putting it out over here like this, cleaning my brush underneath. And we're almost ready for the final step. And you're probably wondering, how do I do this when we're waiting this to dry? What's the next step? Well, the good thing here is that I have pre-painted what it looks like with the wash on. So this is what it looks like when the tank is on with the Calliope rocket launcher. I'm going to take it apart here. Hopefully it will come off. Yes, it did. And I'm going to show you what it looks like with the wash on and without the wash on. So this is with the wash on the tank, on the turret, but not the hull. And this is what it looks like when it's all dried. It looks nice and clean. So what we're going to do next is that we are going to detach the turret, and we're going to go and apply some highlights. Those nice little details. Like for example, in this one here, I forgot to paint the hull machine gun. So I'm going to do this one here. Paint the hull machine gun here. I'm going to apply it here, this one here, another layer of the metal here to the tools. And here also I'm going to apply a small light part here on the track links here with this metal too. Alright, also I'm going to use a little bit of natural steel and the fastening holders on the bags here, the buckles. All good, like this. While I'm waiting for this one to dry, I'm going to give this one an optional dry brush of Iraquian sand again, just to give it a little bit more definition as you did before. And this one I'm doing a slightly, it's a little bit too much. Again, on the raised areas, making it stand out a little bit more, blending in the colors. Don't forget these ones and these ones. When you apply the wash, don't forget also to put it in these wheelbase areas as well. Now I'm also going to apply a small dry brush of brown violet, the original base color, to blend everything together and make sure it doesn't look too weathered. Going like this. And off camera here, I'm wiping it off on a piece of kitchen towel. This is going to be a very light dry brush. I'm going to start with the calliope. And then I'm going over to the tank. And you might wonder, what do I do next? Well, next is that I start with the reapplication of some of the areas that got too much brush on, in this case the machine gun. And I turn my tank around. And here I do a very heavy dry brush of the track links with some natural steel. Then the final thing is that I attach the turret again, and there you go. A regular Sherman from Company of Heroes, the board game, used for US armor. You can use the same tutorial like this for all US armor, and if you have the Elite Commanders pack, make sure that the long end goes first, there's a long end, and the short end goes afterwards. Put them in like this, and you got yourself a Sherman Calliope rocket launcher, 4.5 inch, to rain devastation on your enemies while you're playing the game. If you like these kind of tutorials, you want to see more Company of Heroes, the board game, as well as other tutorials, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And thank you all of you who have actually subscribed to my channel so far. It means the world to me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.